All right. Good.
Wonderful.
Yeah. First breath.
First breath.
Earth. Today.
On earth, the Adama.
Right. Adama is the Hebrew word for earth, so that's why we're saying the first step for breath in the Breatharian retreat in Adama on this earth.
Oh, I'm loving it.
It's nice.
And this is good for us to know. So a lot of this knowledge is we saying, why should we learn more about food freedom? And it's due to the changes that's taking place on the planet. So there's going to be a lot of population relocations. We're not trying to say big cataclysms, but that's going to take place due to, even when you look at Yellowstone Park in America, it is sitting on geysers. You know what a geyser is when the heat comes up and the steam comes out of it? Now that's a volcano. Now it comes up and it looks pretty now, but it ain't about if it's going to happen one day. It won't take much for that to go off and block out half of the clouds and all this other good stuff. So again, we're sitting on a world where change is going to take place, and we as humans are going to have to adapt quick to these changes. So even when we look at our differences now, why did nature make differences? It could have made all men. It could have made a world full of women. It could have. But nature loves diversity so that it could continue. All it cares about is reproduction. And if one group can't make it, it'll make it through its other diverse group. That's how it works. And the reason why one evolutionary change that we have on all of us is our skin colors. That took place so our ancestors can adapt quick to the environment they was in for health purposes to stay alive. It had nothing to do with nothing else. Right. So as we go into the future, as the world starts heating up, as they're saying, and all this other stuff taking place, this is a hot day right now. Changes is going to continue to take place. It is up to us to really observe these natural laws, these universal laws, and how to use them so we can continue. So even when we're on this pace now about leaving alone meat, some people say they leave it alone due to compassion and stuff like this. Okay, that's good. But if anything, if the heat is increasing on the planet, the heat gives off, faster molecules, that means things start speeding up, or it should, because heat represents energy. All of that weight on you being dense isn't going to do you no good health-wise. So you should be forced to lightening up your diet. Eating more fruits and vegetables. Eating things with more, fruits got more distilled water in it. That should be the thought process so you can continue. See, things like high blood pressure, liver ailments, and diabetes and stuff, okay, this ain't to put nobody down, but right now in this age, due to the information we have out there, you should not catch it. We should be clear what causes that now. Being overweight, sedentary lifestyle, and eating dense foods. That's it. And again, I didn't even need to be in a laboratory to figure that out. I didn't need a white coat on. People attack me all the time. Anytime, show us the medical, scientific. Work on yourself. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to wait for somebody to come tell you.
Work on yourself. Go to the doctor. Get your scientific evidence you need from your own doctor.
From your own doctor. Right. Because all they playing is the numbers game. If you beat the numbers, you ain't got to stay to talk to them. Back when I was in America, when I went there and I got the numbers back, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. See you next time. And there were some people who had to wait, sweating at the top of their brow, right, because them and the doctor got to talk. Because the numbers ain't work out all right. So as long as you beat the numbers, you should be able to walk out of there, whatever you're doing. And doctors are people too. One time I showed up at the doctor's office. I had on my biker's helmet. Where did you bike from? I told him across town. Man, you make me feel guilty. I live right up the street. and I should be riding to work. Right. There are people too working with their health. Ain't nothing different. So we're helping each other, and we got to stop that frequency of us against them. Like he's really sitting in the office. Boy, I really want the gazelle on my list right now so she could pay for my summer home.
Actually, when holistic people come to the doctor asks the holistic people how to live. If I go for a blood test, for example, that's the only reason I go.
Right.
So the doctor says, wow, you're shining, you're so calm. What are you doing? Just tell me, what are you doing?
And you give them a brag report. So you go just to brag. Right.
Exactly.
You should go to the doctor just to go brag.
Right.
That's right. That's right. And I totally love what you're saying because it's not us and them. And I went to a doctor and these words came out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me. He looked at the computer and some tests and things. He looked up and said, let's see what we can learn today.
Ain't that something?
Beautiful.
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 A living example.
That's
living
it.
Truth.
It's not us against them. Everybody's growing collectively. And in these circles, as I travel around, especially going to the different festivals in Italy and all this other stuff, there are medical doctors there and scientists. Not to fight against it, to learn more.
Right.
And there was 2 scientists, they went to Victor Traviano's 8-day process. And he was talking about that's amazing that I started gaining more energy after the 3rd day. This started taking place. I start feeling better here. They're looking at it. Nobody's immune to this. So just because you got a degree in some school and you was looking through a microscope, didn't give you a license for nature to make you bypass, through the hoop. You understand? Everybody got to go through this. So the information and example we're given is not only for the poor, it's also for the rich and everybody else out there. This is for everybody. This is a user-friendly message. So when we deal with eating less, what are we talking about? Let's deal with that first before we go with the real mind blowers. And then we're going to talk about a thing called colon health. And we're talking about most diseases and sickness starts in the colon. In the colon.
May I begin?
It's the media gas. The thick intestine, the colon.
No, it's the big one on the outside.
Yeah, the thick.
The big one.
Oh,
Right.
Media gas.
In this teaching, we'll say the digestive system. We're going to take the colon, the small intestine, and the large intestine. We'll put them all together. We're going from the esophagus all the way to the anus. You got one big hole going through you, just like a donut.
Right, and we want it to be clean and clear.
Right. We want to keep it moving.
Right.
So if you're going to eat, keep it moving. There's a thing it does by its nature called peristalsis, if that's the right word, where it automatically moves on its own to try to get the feces through it. That's what it does by its nature. But again, it only could go but so fast. So many movements throughout the day. So we got to help it out so it could do what it does naturally. And we talk about a thing, you brought up detox.
Yeah.
And see, we make detox into a sport now, and it's part of the maintenance. But the body does that by its nature every day. Every morning when you wake up to use the bathroom, that's what your body just did at night. It got rid of just enough to keep you alive. So the constitution of the body is for health, to keep us alive, to evolve, to change. And it welcomes change if it knows it's going to benefit it. See, a lot of people, they could become prana, but the body needs to get the memo what you want to do it for. It ain't about telling me what it's for. The body wants to get the memo because it wants to live. If it can see the benefit on why we can live, it will take you there and say, let's go. That's what we call ego. Uh-oh, did I say that? It's a program. But the last program you gave it said, if we don't eat, we're going to die. Or I must have this amount of vitamins and this amount of minerals. So you can't blame the body. But if you could give it the new incentive, because you talk to yourself all the time. That's your best friend. Well, we should go food-free, body, because check this out.
That's a beautiful new concept. I love it.
Right.
I love it.
You remember last week when we went on that fast and how we felt the third day? Yeah.
Right.
We can feel like that a lot more often. Don't you want to feel like that? Yeah. Right. It'll say when we going to get started. It won't fight against you no more. See, you want to make friends with yourself. That's why they say scriptures like make friends with God. How do you make friends with God? With yourself. Y'all became friends. How do peace come to the heavens and the earth? What is it talking about? The mind and the body. It's telling you that a holistic medicine, mind-body connection. And when they're at peace with one another, there's no conflict. There's no war. There's no argument. It's hard for you to argue with somebody when you're feeling good. I had a relative one time, they got in an argument with me, and I was trying to figure it out. But then I seen that they got an argument with another relative, somebody else. I said, oh, they're sick. They're feeling bad. That's why they're arguing with everybody. And that's what it was. Now, I wonder what type of sickness it was. Now, check this out. This is one of the number ones. In America, they got a big thing called Memorial Day holiday. Memorial Day weekend, families go out, have picnics, bring all types of food. That's just tradition.
Independence or memorial?
Memorial.
For people that died in the wars? What do you
Yeah.
mean? Oh, okay, like we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And one of their things is a circle around food, barbecuing. So anyway, they got the outhouses where everybody used the bathroom and stuff like that. So at the end of the weekend, it's filthy. Nobody's arguing that. So I happened to be living in the park that year. So I went to go look at one of the outhouses. And on top of all the feces that people was using, somebody gave a dump. This was the biggest one I seen. It was unbroken.
Like a snake?
Like a snake.
Really?
This was serpent knowledge. This is where they get it from.
Right, good. That shows he's a healthy guy.
It was unbroken too, and it was the biggest one I've seen in my life. It had to probably take up the whole person. For what I saw. I had to go show my friends. I said, y'all got to come look at this. You won't believe this. They was taking pictures of it and everything. And now listen at this. That person must have felt miserable before that came out. Their eyes, the white of it must have been brown. Their feet must have been cramped up. Their hands probably was cramped. They probably was arguing with everybody. But when that came out, for what I saw, it wasn't broken either. I mean, it came out of it in one swirl. They probably was like, woo, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. It felt better. Now, most of us feel better when there's a good dump that comes out. And for that to come up out of them, man, that could have killed them. It had to be touching the heart and stuff. So now we know what heart attacks and stuff come from. Too much feces. All through the system. High blood pressure, strokes. All of that's related to eating. Now, is it the eating of the food? It's the toxicity. The backing up. That's going through the system. The system cannot keep up getting rid of the toxicity on how much the organism is putting in. That's why another thing that's big in the West is what? Obesity. That means a person is eating too much to what the body is getting rid of. And right off the rip, you already got bad health. It's just a matter of time. The heart is beating faster. The blood is slowed down. The mind ain't thinking clear. All this stuff is taking place. You start having less movement. You really can't enjoy life because you're doing less. You remember, you had an ancestor, by his nature, is the longest walking animal. Now you can't even walk that far. Out of your nature. You can't even catch the gazelle now. The gazelle laughing at you.
She's doing no.
She's doing it now.
But you have to bring here somebody overweight, to be a living example.
But this is what we're talking about. This isn't far-fetched now. So now we got a generation, and that's why I had to give the generation now credit. We got a generation now that's more conscious than ever of what they're putting into their body. Veganism has grown, even though you got a lot of humanity still playing around. Let's look at the positive. We got a lot more fruitarians than ever. We got a lot more smoothie places jumping up all over the place. And even McDonald's is selling a vegan burger. They even said, if I can't beat them, I might as well join them. Huh?
Only in India they're selling that. No, I don't know.
Oh, no.
Here as well?
Yeah, India got these situations too. Believe me. Mama's trying to feed everybody.
They say Tel Aviv is the vegan capital of the world.
Right.
Of the world. The most vegan restaurants in the world.
In the world. And that didn't happen overnight. That was progress. But now got the most vegan restaurants in the world. And it ain't going to back down. Why should it? So that means that consciousness has also raised. So we got global warming on what we say a lot of negativity. Does have to show its face in the future. We understand this. It's not about if it's going to happen, it's when. Even down to the stock market. I'm not trying to talk like a financial guru. Of course it's going to crash one day. It isn't about how, when, why. Of course, that's the nature of the beast. We created it. So, but it's about how you gain the knowledge, because I remember Bill Clinton said something real good. He said, we're in an age of information. If he ever said the truth, this was it. We're in the age of information. There's so much information out there. Whoever grabbed the information can really get past these times and live a good life. So right now, there's somebody born into a family right now, due to the information that's out there, that will see 300 years old easily. Did I say that?
Right. And there are actually communities in Israel living according to this knowledge, like the Black Hebrew community in Dimona.
Right, they trying.
Living, and they believe actually, like one of their presidents or leaders told me that Ben Ami Carter said he was with a group of people, and he said, some of you will never die, some of you will live to the age of 1,000, some of these people in this room with the knowledge revealed, some of you 300.
And I'm glad you're bringing this up, because we are talking, since we're talking breatharianism, this isn't far-fetched no more. I did a video on why would we want to do that. Why would you want to go food-free? Because in your mind now, you want to live longevity / immortality. That's why you want to do it. It ain't got nothing to do just because the food keep tasting good. We clear on that. I'm crystal clear on some of the foods I used to eat and how it used to taste. But I'm after something else now. I outgrew it. That don't mean you have to spend a life over and over again, just like a kid playing with the same toy. It wasn't nothing but an experience. So now we're gaining the confidence to put food and everything else in its proper place. You don't need to continue to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Even down to belief systems. No stepping on religions. I don't need to keep going to Sunday school listening to Noah's Ark over and over again. Go learn something that's going to benefit you. Once you got the memo, move on. Sort of like I told my story of sushi. And I was a breatharian at the time. Never taste sushi. One day I wanted to taste it. It was good. And I spent a whole week enjoying myself with sushi. But after it was over, I'm clear. It was a life experience. Put it down. So therefore, for us to be human again, when we hear about these words, discipline, disciple, those sound like crucial words. But there is a word we should use, how should I say it? Well, you do need to start working on yourself to break certain habits that seem impossible at first. Nobody's arguing that. But we're in the age, too, where there's so many different therapies out there. So much help. People come to me sometimes with certain things. I probably can't help you, but I know where to point to you to go. Does this make sense? So we're in the age of information, just like Bill Clinton was saying. We got sun therapies, beach therapies, all different type of diet changes, losing weight. Yoga's all on the scene. Tai Chi. You can learn out of a book. Matter of fact, ancient books, it didn't even have a teacher. Any of y'all ever see those movies where all they seen was somebody drew a person in a position? That was the book. And nobody had to write word for word. How high do I hold my hand? That's how we've been trained now. Where do I focus my attention on my third eye? Just focus in between your eyebrows.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Keep it simple. We don't need to make it too hard. Really. And watch these changes take place. Now, fasting. Let's go back to the medical profession. And all of them. You can look on the internet right now. There's not one medical group talking about, how should I say, all of them is talking about the medical benefits of fasting. Of course, there's dangers in everything you do for being foolish. Right. You don't want to overdo it. You try to detoxify yourself too much, you could cause more harm than good. There's even knowledge on how to break a fast. Right. So just like I said before, your body is part of physical matter. And all physical matter has an electromagnetic field. Now, one thing we do know as being humans, if you do maintenance on the car's going to run a lot better and a lot longer. On a plane, on a house, there's no exceptions. If you start doing that same upkeep on the physical body, you're going to have better quality living out of it. This is what we're talking about. This ain't far-fetched no more. And right now, where we at in knowledge? Cars, most of them run off of fossil fuels. That means dead plants and animals. Now we could take those physical vehicles, whether if it's a car, plane, train, you can run off electricity, solar power, different type of biofuels. I could go on and on of the stuff you can run it off of. There's no exception for the human being on the knowledge we got right now. You can run off of so many things. You can eat things that ain't got nothing to do with your health. Serious. Your body don't digest it. You be sitting up there talking about you full. Your body don't digest cashews. I used to love cashews. My body ain't getting nothing out of it. It was just eating it. Going right through me.
Really? Cashew?
Right.
So expensive.
An expensive death. Right. There's some places the dirt is so good you can sell a person some dirt. Right. The dirt tastes sweet, good. You wouldn't know until somebody told you. All types of stuff you'll eat. I got a buddy working at chalk mine. He said you'd be surprised the stuff they put chalk into, especially food that you're eating. It's called a filler. You think most of it is 100% this and that. No, it's not. Everybody trying to make money. You eating garbage.
That's right. Only time I was, I used to have, and I guess I might still have, some judgments on the food industry.
Yeah.
You know how the food industry has become a money-making machine for the world.
Right.
And so they put extra crap in it that we don't need and stuff that's not real and plastic and colors and all this stuff that's really not good for us. And, it's just like to make more money, basically.
Exactly.
You know? And so we've got things in cans and boxes and bags and all these things, where we used to eat food, we would just get some food, like fruit or vegetables or something out of the ground
Exactly.
and eat it. And then what we see in a lot of the grocery store now doesn't look like food at all because it's not food at all.
It's not food at all.
And so I think, it was sort of rough. We kind of lost a little control of the food chain. All our grains started getting genetically modified and all that crazy stuff started happening, mixing up animals and plants and all that kinds of stuff. But I think the good news, there's some good news about it.
Yeah.
You ready?
Right.
All right. So here we go. We used to have just food, and then we started having fake food.
Yeah.
And weird stuff, food.
Right.
Weird stuff called food.
Yeah.
And so, but it got so bad, and we woke up to it, that now we actually realize there's a lot of crap out there.
Uh-huh.
And so I think because it got so bad, we actually really did get to start reading the labels and looking at, I don't need so much stuff in cans and boxes. Let me stay on the produce aisle. Let me go to the fruit market. Let me go to the shuk, here and get my real food. And I think it sort of got so bad that we had to wake up and realize that stuff is not food. And also, as our consciousness expands, what we attract into our body, I think we can sort of use our food choices as a mirror to see our consciousness. Right?
Exactly.
And so you can go and you can see someone in a grocery store, what they're filling their buggy full is on their body too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so you can tell with person at the checkout, look at their body and look at what they're buying. Right?
Exactly.
So we're just externalizing our consciousness all the time.
In a nutshell.
So I think it was great that food got so horrible because then we couldn't do anything but wake up to it. And then as we wake up and expand our consciousness and we clear our body also of those extra chemicals and all that crap we didn't really need, the fake stuff and the plastic, we start like raising our consciousness. We make better food choices and bringing in more purity.
It forced you to.
We had to. We just had to. So like some people are still, everybody's at a different vibration, somebody's still buying crap and eating crap and they're still probably thinking, it's all very connected. But as we go, as they say here, laat laat, step by step, slowly, slowly, expanding our consciousness, clearing our body, then our bodies become more sensitive. And when you look when you look at a food or you hold it or you even get it close to your mouth, your body is saying, no.
Exactly.
Or if you smell
hold it and smell it and perceive it as we cleanse and of that food. And so I think it's really beautiful that it got so bad that we really had to wake up and get smarter and we needed to get more sensitive because you don't know what's in that stuff.
Right.
And even the stuff that looks like real food, like the wax on the apples and the weird stuff they do to even food that looks real, you want to become clear and sensitive and feel something.
I never ate real food before. This is heavy, sort of like the Matrix. So, but there's a saying that says you done fell so low that you can't fall no lower. The only way you could go is back up. It expanded consciousness. And I think I did in a teaching that suffering is a good thing because suffering causes you to what?
To wake up.
To make a change.
Yeah.
So health got so bad, even though one level we point.
It's like that, I also don't really need that anymore.
You don't even need it.
The part that they have control of and have messed around with, okay, let them have it.
You can have it.
You can have that part because I don't need that part anyway.
Exactly.
That's okay.
But there's a path to get to there, and I think most of us want to do the steps, as you said, step by step. So how are we going to get it to be in this position?
Oh, and like I said, we're already doing it collectively. It's like the changes you made so far, just on your own personal thing that I'm so proud of. You're already doing it. And basically how you said here in Tel Aviv, in Israel, the most vegan restaurants around. That didn't happen overnight. So when you say how are we going to do that, get there, collectively people are making those changes. See, even back where I'm from in Ohio, there's more veganism taking place, more people reading the labels, all across the board. So it is taking place. It's a force that's taking place of the light. So I'm glad she brought that up. Some things that people are trying to control, you don't need to go there no way. Let them have it. And after a while, just like a kid with a toy, well, I'm sitting there holding this and nobody want it no more. They'll let it go. Or it's also help expanding consciousness. Like I said, I'm food free and others. Why did we do it? Because we came out of a scenario that it was bad. It was dark. You fell so low, the only place I could go was upwards. I was 190 pounds, young, heart beating, and the only thing the doctor did to me was throw pills at me. Didn't even have to do a checkup. He was in the same boat. We was in a bad place. The only place was to come upwards. Had to speed up the pace. There wasn't no slacking. There wasn't no looking back. And I'm not sad on what I ate because I ate just what I wanted to do, just like a big boy. Favorite dish was Salisbury steak and gravy. I just did my Jesus' Last Supper. I don't mean you have to stay there no more. Just move on. But see, just by me saying this, see, your testimony of where you at now is helping so many other people. Just like others that's before you is helping, we're helping each other collectively.
close a little bit.
לא, בבקשה.
Oh, that's good.
טוב. שהגיע, חיכינו לזה.
Just having a good one.
I'm waiting for this. Just breathe.
So going back to this liver or this colon maintenance, we got a donut going straight through us. And we're not even going to talk metaphysical no more about the energy that surround us, the energy flow. We're going to deal with something we all can see, we can relate to. And we got this hole going through us, and it's up to us on what we put into the body. There's some things that passes through the body a lot more quicker than others. And even your masters used to say, chew your food thoroughly, because they even say your digestive system begins when you are chewing to grind it up so that it can pass through the system more thoroughly. This is part of the maintenance. The body's equipped to do this. We got to start using it. Now, when I was in the Navy, doing boot camp, you had to eat your meal real fast. Boom, get up. So I had to eat the meal real fast to keep up so I could eat and won't feel like I'm going to starve. So when I got out the Navy, I kept that habit. Everywhere I was at, as soon as the family sit down, my plate is already empty. And that lasted with me for years until I had to say, wait a minute, I'm eating messed up. Where did I pick up this habit? That's messing up my health. I need to sit down, chew, learn to eat all over again because I picked up a bad habit along the way that was messing up my health. That's why I was gaining all that weight. The whole hamburger was there, just like a shark. Didn't even break it down. Now, to tell you the importance of breaking something down, in my early 20s, I was in this car accident where I broke my jaw. So I had to get the jaw wired, and they said I had to basically eat food out of a blender. So me, I ain't know nothing about diet changes, and I'm sitting there saying, man, forget this. I'm tired of eating this food out of a blender. So I went to a hamburger place, bought a hamburger, and put it in the blender and blended it. I sure did. I'll never forget it. And I said, whoa, this is good. But I kept on doing it. But you know what? I didn't even realize it until I think about it. My health improved. It improved on how I blended the composition of the hamburger. See, when we look at something that's solid from a liquid, the molecules change. The behavior of them change. That's all. See, the molecules are still the same. The behavior of them change. From the ice, it's still H2O. From the water, it's still H2O. So therefore, it takes great importance now when you start eating things, either chewing it properly or break it down in liquid form. You're going to have improvements. So I didn't even realize it. My health improved. And notice that it was meat. I didn't even say nothing about it. I ain't know nothing about a vegetarian or vegan. I thought that was for nerds back then.
Well, actually, the blender is for somebody that's disabled because the good
and I was disabled.
chewing. Yeah, but when we're talking about people now, like if you all the time blender your food, then you make your muscles here less stronger because they're not working, and the whole process is going down.
You don't need them when you don't eat.
Start talking more.
Yeah, and actually if you take a little bit of grains and you really chew on them, you get a lot of nutrition because you break it down really thoroughly, and it goes through processes slowly.
Well, see, you go. I know where you're going.
It's natural to go through.
Well, I know where you're going. That's a level of knowledge, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So you just use that word nutrition loosely, and don't even know what it means when I'm coming from the Breatharian
maybe I'll
concept.
put it more accurate than when we're talking for a person to start going into stages of taking less food.
Right, that's all we're talking about. Less
so
food.
What is better if it's
and
better
blended
to
it down.
choose to chew more or to blend it down? That's the question. Like,
Blend it down.
It's preferable
Absolutely.
to blend it down. Yeah.
This is what we're
All
saying.
right. So go shakes. Yeah.
Because we got this hole going straight through us, and we want this to pass through a lot more smoothly.
Right.
Now notice that they say that we're mostly water. Okay, let's break it down. We're mostly liquids. What is a liquid? Liquid is something that does not have form, but it will take the form of its container. Does this make a sense?
Yes.
This is what you're filled with, mostly. Then so physical matter. So if we at least could start going to that level, health will improve. This is all we're talking about. So it can pass through smoothly because that liquid will take on the form of its container, of that intestines. And of course, it don't have to break down as much because it takes a lot of energy to digest and break down the food.
Yeah.
This is what it's about again, energy. So even when you say about chewing, that takes energy to do that. We're not talking about that. Wasting energy. We're talking about being fulfilled. That's why you're doing it. And trying to get a new resource of energy. So that's step number one. Now notice, we got the physical matter. H2O, the ice. Or we could take the composition of the apple. When it goes to its liquid form, it's still H2O. The behavior changed into a liquid form. Now this is the place or the next phase that's confusing everybody. What's confusing everybody is the unseen forces. And that's the gas state. Now let's go into the basic 3 phases of matter. You got the physical, liquid, and then the gas.
Right.
The gas state exists. You're living in the bottom of gases. There's even a thing called passing gas. You got gases going all through you. Oxygen is gas. Nitrogen. Hydrogen. Argon. You're breathing all of this. So we're living in the bottom of these gases. And going back to that, changing that H2O liquid form into the gaseous state. Because that's what I had to tell somebody today. Don't you feel the moisture in the atmosphere? Yeah. Your body's picking this up.
Right, of course.
You're already drinking water. It didn't have to go into your mouth.
Of course, it goes through the skin inside.
Now here we go again. And this was confusing people going into the pranic state. Now, of course, you're going to feel lighter off of a gas compared to something that's dense like physical matter.
Right.
Of course, the colon going to look different because the colon is going to take the form of what you put into it. So going back to what I said earlier, even though we was laughing about it, about that dude that did that long turd that came out of his intestines. Physical matter, that's what that was, straight up. It took the form of his vehicle. So he didn't have no colon like this. No, he didn't. Not holding that turd. It had to be like this. You know, love handles and all to hold that. I'm just looking at the results. So if you're already eating on a dense level like that, your colon's going to look different. Compared to if you go into the liquid form, because the liquid, by its behavior, is going to take on the form of the container it's in. The other form bent the container.
And the thing I'm reminded of is I had 4 kids and I breastfed them all.
Right.
Right? And when a baby's a baby and you breastfeed a baby, you know what's going to happen next? They're going to poop.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty directly after a feeding.
Right.
So that's liquid. It was perfect for the body. And whatever other liquid was in the body just came on out. They're going to pee and they're going to poop right after they breastfeed. That's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
You've got to know that. And so, you know, that's just the normal thing. When you put more in,
Right.
then whatever is in is going to come out. So just about every time you gave a baby a nursing, they're going to pee or they're going to poop. Just all the time.
Or they're going to burst.
Listen
Just
at this.
all the time. And so,
Right.
so then I ask people now, because I work with detoxing, cleansing, and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. I'll say, how many times do you eat every day?
Uh-huh.
Right.
And
Here we
they'll
go.
tell me 4 times. All right, 4 or 5 times. You know, sometimes snacks and things. 4 or 5 times. All right, how many times do you poop a day?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe 1 or maybe 1 every other day.
Maybe.
Maybe 1 if they're doing good.
Here we go.
And I say, well, where are your other 4 meals?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You
Yeah.
got 4 extra ones.
Where are they? They just didn't disappear.
Right.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right. And so, like, I think it's great if, you know, you can do there's those fun, you know, abdominal exercises, intestinal exercises and everything.
Here
where
we
you
go.
can get that stuff, like, rolling out, coming out, even before you put in something else.
Absolutely.
You know? Like, make sure you need it. Make sure you got room for it, you know?
I just told a friend who's on a pranic path that was with me in Thailand. And they ate something, which was understandable. And they felt how they felt. But then the next phase that came up was, now get the intestines to moving. Help it along. It'll get rid of it, but it'll take a lot longer. And they're at a feeling state now where they're at in their pranic path. They feel the difference. Of course you feel the difference. But the key is not to feel guilty of what you just ate. Now it's your responsibility to get it to moving. That's why there's a thing called what? I just came from Thailand with all the massages.
Self-abdomen massage.
Colon massage.
Yeah.
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 You can get in there and move that stuff.
Right.
It's maintenance again. Oh, my buddy. But
זה שי, נכון?
שקט.
שלום. Welcome.
And going back to that baby, as soon as they're breastfed, and that's what they say. A healthy person, when you eat a meal, the next one should be ready to come out. The next one should be coming out. If it don't, constipation is one of the culprits. And that's why most sickness and illness begins in the colon. And it can happen to anybody. It ain't got nothing to do with being fat. This is so delicate. It don't take much for food to kind of get trapped up in there. So if you're going to eat, you're going to have to live a life of some serious colon maintenance. That's it. Ain't no getting away around it if you want to stay healthy. So therefore, walking, exercising. And look at that word, exercising. EX is a word within itself. Exorcism. Exiting something. Yeah, you exorcising a demon up out of you. Something that ain't supposed to be there. That's the exorcism. You get all that out of them, they start talking different. Angels to set in. You to cast out something. Oh, man.
Yeah, every time different foods also have different transit times. You know, some things will go through right quick.
Here we go.
And some things will take a week.
Listen at that.
And so I look at whatever I'm going to drink or put in my body,
Mm-hmm.
that thing has to become netta.
It has to become
It
you.
has to become me.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a lemon.
Right.
And now, in a few minutes, I'm going to get the juice out, and it's going to become netta.
It's going to become netta now. It's
Right.
going to become you.
And so some things like water, I'm a lot of water.
Right.
I'm a water girl. I'm a water woman, right? I'm a water woman. So if I get some good water, I got good water inside. If I get more good water, that's an easy. I mean, it starts becoming me in my mouth. It starts
Exactly.
going in my gums and becoming me. There's no resistance.
No resistance.
It's just like I'm meeting myself. Hello, beautiful. Right? This is easy. Now you take a little lemon juice. I'm not so far off from a lemon because I like the sun, I like trees, I like the air. You know,
Right.
I'm not too far from a lemon. You know, I can be sour sometimes. It doesn't take much to make lemon juice into netta.
Right, right.
And so, in all fruits, they're used to the thing I'm used to: sun and air and water and all the things I like, and trees and nature. It's a lot like
Here we
me.
go.
It's a lot like me. All those fruits and vegetables, things from the earth that need what I need to grow, they're a lot like me.
Right.
And if I don't mess with them too much, like boil them, cook them, kill them, like do all this stuff to them to get them not like me.
Right.
If I keep them a lot like me, alive, right? Fresh and alive.
That determines how fast it goes through you.
And how fast it becomes me, it doesn't take much. And so it can just go on through. So if it's water, there you go.
Right.
If it's some lemon juice or some nice tea or something, you know, with lemon, you know, whatever. And if it's fruit, it's going to go through in no time because it's going to become me in no time. And what's not, doesn't need to become netta, goes down the toilet.
Exactly.
Easy.
Easy.
Now, that's all very easy. Live and raw, fruits and vegetables, greens, anything that's a lot like me and that's life. Remembering what I'm remembering, sun, water, wind, all that stuff.
Whole different ball game.
It's all so much like me, it's very easy. Now, I take something that is way different from me, all right?
Way different.
Way different.
Here we
from
go.
me. Let's say the most opposite different from me that I can think of right now would be like, in a way, I could like think about a pig, you know, because a pig eats garbage.
Right.
You know, it's a cleaner upper. It's like a vacuum for the world.
Right.
And so it's like the opposite. I'm like a vacuum for the best stuff in the world. It's a vacuum for the worst stuff, and that's its job, and I love it. And thank you, brother. That's awesome job you're doing.
Whole different creation.
Whole different purpose of creation. But that is a very opposite energy than me. And so if I take that and have to try to turn that into netta,
Oh my God.
how long is that going to take me?
Right.
I mean, it's easy going to take 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and it's just stuck. And it's dying and rotting, and it's doing its vibration of decomposing that animal. It's just having to decompose in me, and it's just taking a long
Whole
time.
different ball game.
So also his experience, his memories, his death, you know, and all the things that an animal goes through. Even if, you know, we have a pretty rough animal death industry in the meat industry. It's pretty rough. What those animals experience is held in their bodies, just like what I experience is held in my body.
Just like us.
Right.
The experiences
Exactly
there.
like me. And so when I'm taking all that memory and all that physicality and that muscle tissue of an animal that was very different from me, and I'm trying to take that and turn it into me.
Right.
That's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of energy. I'm going to have to meet that vibration down there at some point, like feeling heavy, feeling sad, feeling depressed, maybe feeling scared, because I'm going to have to embrace those vibrations as it's going through my system.
Right.
It's hard on a lot of levels, and just on the intestines itself, it just rots instead of moves.
Right.
So I really have to do something really drastic, or it's going to take like a week to get through the system, holding up all kinds of
This
other
is very
stuff,
important.
holding up all kinds of other stuff that could have been me in 10 minutes.
And
Exactly.
making a mutation out of
Yeah,
this, mutation.
Yeah, it's rough. It gets rough. And
destroying.
so I just look at what is it that I'm ready to become me.
So in other words, some things go through you a lot smoother, a lot faster than others.
They're becoming me very easily. It's not too difficult.
Now listen at this, a junkyard. They could go to a junkyard and everything in the junkyard, they would tell you how long that thing will be there before it dissolves. Everything there is going to dissolve. Plastic is a rough thing on the planet due to how long it takes for it to dissolve. If this make any sense.
Yeah.
Natural things, or things we should make things out of, should be able to recycle easily or dissolve back into the earth. But when you're creating something that will last a whole lot longer past your lifetime and all this other stuff, that could be a problem. So I'm just bringing that up when you're just talking about foods. Now, we're not saying that the pig is going to be in you forever.
Right.
But it's going to be in you long enough to go through all of that stuff on things you could have made a choice that would have went through a lot smoother, a lot quicker, and had a less of an impact on your character of becoming netta.
And my experience of even combining, connecting with that energy, with that animal or with that food, I'm going to have an experience of my experience of that.
You're going to have an experience with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I got to know that going in.
You got to know it going in. And see, some people's like the vibration when they haven't experienced that. We're telling them it. And you're doing your best to try to tell somebody your experience. That's why this is all called self-realization. You will go from enlightenment to an enlightenment to an enlightenment. If you're still experiencing those dense energies, start letting them go so that you can have that experience on what she's talking about.
Yeah, I think sometimes when we make, our food choices are so historic. We have memories, we have trauma, we have just patterns, what we got used to. We got stuff connected with food. And I think on our journey, we start kind of trying to really make two things distinct that got folded in together, like happiness and chocolate cake got put together in our brain.
Right.
And so we need to take the chocolate cake, separate it out from the happiness, right? And get it just happiness maybe from somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So we're going to just start, taking apart these things that got folded in together with our food, including emotions. Again, with the baby. Baby cries, mother gives it the breast. We don't know if it's hungry. Sometimes it might be nervous or just needing to cry. We don't know.
Right.
But we'll a lot of times give a baby physical nourishment when we don't really know if it really needs food. It may just need holding or something different.
Exactly.
But we're just struggling. We're just being human,
Right.
doing the best we can.
All the time shoving something inside the mouth to shut him up, actually. I don't want to hear him crying, so I'll just...
And I like how you gave that analogy about the baby, because there's two things that the babies do. When they're sleeping at night, you can see their stomach going in and out. They're still breathing, abdominal breathing. A lot of adults lose that due to eating, due to the intestines getting all bloated and all this other stuff of stress, and the breathing start going upwards.
Yeah, the belly of the baby, the intestine, had milk, probably had liquid for a while.
Liquid.
So it was empty enough to allow that breathing.
Whole different feeling.
Where we're still humans are holding 4 extra meals.
Right.
And that diaphragm is right under there. And
Listen at that.
And humans are eating late in the day before they lay down.
Listen at that.
Food is still in the stomach, putting pressure on the whole system. It doesn't work this way. It doesn't work well.
All dealing with the colon now. And I'm glad how you brought up. We brought up the sleeping part. Now we brought up that liquid filling in the intestines compared to all of that backed up physical meals. Whole different ball game on how the intestine feel. That's why the liquid journey could be a lot of fun. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you got to just drink orange juice every day? We're in an age now where you can have so much fun. And when we talk about liquid form, it all depends how thick you want to make it also. And it got to be real thick. You understand? But as long as it's in that liquid form, or more of a bland form, where your body don't have to produce that much energy to digest it. This is what it's about again, energy. That energy could be used for other things. Now we're talking about the pranic path slowly, ain't we?
Yeah, on the liquid, I was on green juices, basically pure liquid for almost close to a year when I was working on Lyme disease.
Yeah.
A long time ago. So I was on green juices, all kinds of green juices, but not like just sweet fruit juice, like greens, dark, heavy, good greens. And that liquid journey, I just got to feeling so light,
Feeling light.
It was just a very light feeling, and yet it was colorful and beautiful and nutritious and very healing. Your greens, your dark green things, especially if you juice them, are like really gonna just help clear out and heal and all that
And
stuff.
listen at this. We got the key word in front of us. We keep using this word in spirituality called enlightenment. But light is that word that's in it. You should feel light mentally, emotionally, and physically.
And the lighter you feel in your mind and the lighter you feel in your emotions, the lighter food choices you will choose.
You will choose.
It's just that when you feel heavy or overwhelmed, we go to these denser, lower, heavier foods and feelings. And I think that really what people are really wanting to feel when they choose a dense, heavy food is I actually think they want to feel the energy of the groundedness of the earth.
That's what they're equating it to.
They really want this solid, I'm connected, I'm safe, I'm
To
fine,
feel connected.
to feel connected, supported, safe, like my feet are on the ground. This is what they're not doing this energy connection to the earth. They're trying to get it through the animals that were on the earth.
Exactly.
If I eat a cow who had 4 hooves on the earth, that's heavy and grounded. And I'll feel heavy and grounded.
Right.
That's why I'm choosing that, to
Right.
try to feel that.
Yeah.
Where we could not have to do, we don't have to turn a cow into us.
Mm-hmm.
We could actually go directly to the energy source.
Directly
green
to
that
the
makes
energy source.
The cow.
Yeah, the cow's
alive.
like, yeah, the
How
cow
can the
got
cow
greens.
eat only greens and be so solid and big and strong?
Strong, right.
So we can also an elephant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now this is where it gets good.
Yeah.
We done tapped into the intestines. Okay, there's going to be a difference on how the intestines are going to look and feel from food that is more into a bland liquid form compared to food that's more in a denser state, right off the rip. So that means that the whole organism is going to feel different. How it's going to pass through and all this other good stuff.
Yeah, I think no matter what form you're eating, whether that is still solids or or liquid or thin versus thick smoothies, whatever it is, when it's in our mouth, like you said, it's a hollow tube from the beginning to the end.
A hollow tube.
And I think it's really important, if we can just get ourselves present and hollow before we take that first bite. Before we take that
Beautiful.
first
Being
smell,
present.
being present and being that openness first before we start putting things in the opening. Be the opening. Be
Because the
present.
average person don't realize this. Okay, you could get to the point where you could take your mind, focus on your hand. Okay, I can feel my hand. But you could do the same thing with your inward organs.
Yeah, and then when you do drink and you do put something, like a smoothie or a shake or whatever, or a juice in your mouth, I would also say, settle down, be with that, and let it be in your mouth also, because we're not chewing, like if we are on the liquid phase of things for any period of time,
Right.
then our body is very intelligent, and we actually do still need some of that saliva and some of those chemical reactions that happen in the mouth. And so it's not like we're just going to guzzle, 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 guzzle. That's also like an addictive behavior.
Exactly.
It's just like, ugh, gimme, gimme, gimme now, all of it. We just want to just get really present and be the opening, be that hollow opening,
Right.
bringing in that food to become us, and feeling and tasting it and letting it be in our mouth to get what it needs from our mouth, and then
Right.
and then move on down. So they say, what do they say? Swallow make your solids into liquids,
Yeah.
and then chew your liquids. If you
Exactly,
have
yeah.
liquid,
Mhm.
then let it go around and let it get those chemical reactions started, which actually wake up the whole system to say, hey, here's what we've got coming.
Right.
Everybody get ready.
Mm-hmm.
So you start
Now this
clear.
is good. So now we got the basis, and we already broke it down. We didn't even have to go into, how should I say, different food changes like that. We just went into the composition of them on its relationship on how much stress is putting on the intestines. I want to go there in a way. Because our next phase is, now they're telling us that our intestines, our colon, our digestive system is our second brain. Some say our first brain. And the reason why they saying that is because there's like 100 million neurons that they can actually see that that's not only in the brain. There's about, 86 billion, but over 100 million in the intestine area. Whoa, what are they there for? Then you got the dopamine, the DMT, and all this other stuff. The serotonin being in the intestines. Whoa. So below, so above, so below. So there's this connection that's taking place of signals. Now the brain, it requires most of the energy of the body dealing with the organs. Or it will shut other places down in order to get its energy. It will make you sick to get its energy. If you need to sit down or you're running yourself ragged, your brain will go lay you down so it can go get its rest. Go get fueled up. It don't care about what you need to be doing in your schedule. It wants to stay alive. So since we know that the brain needs at least 500 calories, as they have it, of the total organs, we need to give it another fuel source. Now what the intestines is good at, this is what Mantak Chia and Taoism is bringing up. Okay, you got the brain, you got the heart. It plays part in the electromagnetic field. It comes out the furthest. But the heart and the brain is not good at absorbing and storing energy. It uses it, but it needs, what organ does it? The intestines. That's what it does. So it does more than just deal with the physical food that people is used to. The apple, the hamburger. You've been used to that. But now we're going into more of the bland, the liquid foods, keeping the intestines down, keeping the colon cleansed. And people reporting, having more energy, better health. But now we're going to this other state of matter. We're going to the gas state, which is every sense is just as intangible. Now through breath work, a lot of your pranayama, that's in India, but we don't even need to go there. Your Western medical profession got good breath techniques all over the place. Russia even got one developed, where you could gain more energy just off of different breath techniques. And one man who's out there who brought up his own also is Wim Hof. Those who know him called the Iceman, where you could go through some of his techniques and gain energy straight up out the atmosphere. But the storing of it takes place in the intestines because that's what it does. It absorbs on its own and it stores energy. That's why in a lot of your Taoist texts dealing with meditations, they keep showing you this embryo that's in a person's intestines. You're growing something. There is a thing called energy cultivation or spiritual cultivation. That's why it's just not about one meditation. One standing under the sun. I was sun gazing, so I'm going to be food free because I stood under here today. That's not what we're talking about. You're allowing the body now to retrain it through a testing that's what? Don't have much in it. That's what you need to work with. You need the tool to work with first. Don't go out there with it all big and bloated. It ain't going to do you no good. You want to get in a state where it's ready and prepared to now grab what it needs from the atmosphere. This is where we're storing it at. That's why you keep talking about the Dantian. This is where the energy starts. Under the belly button. You even got nourished there by your mother. You didn't get nourished by the mouth in the womb. It was right here from the belly button. So this is still activated on how the intestines is incredible at storing and absorbing energy from the atmosphere. I can take you through exercises now where you can start bending and you got to fart. It ain't had nothing to do with it coming from here. This started moving. Grabbing energy, bloating up, pushing stuff out. But it won't stay in that state. Now the reason why a person starved to death or have a hard time fasting is because they did not train the gut, this portion of the body, to store enough energy to sustain the vehicle.
And you really probably, most people these days, if they're eating just normal, they've got stuff blocking. They have blockages in that area, and
Blockages.
that really has to be handled first. Because if you just go headstrong into fasting, your detox is going to be killer.
Yeah, it is.
You can't handle
Say it.
You're going to be sick.
Right.
And so you need to get that. You need to get your digestive tract, your intestines, and your colon. You need to get that flowing through.
Get that flowing.
Sweep it out. Get out those blockages. You know, use some higher fiber.
We're talking user-friendly knowledge now,
yeah,
ain't we?
Yeah, you really got to just help get that old stuff out so you can really get the benefit of when you start bringing in your new foods and juices and this really good high vibration stuff with your newer consciousness.
Right.
You really got to get some crap out of the way, literally.
And listen at this. Let's talk about water. Now, of course, you could go to the level without drinking water. But wait a minute, not off the bat. Water is a savior. It's the greatest solvent on the planet. You're considered food free if you could go 4 months drinking nothing but water. Why is that? Water has no calories. Uh-oh. Then you can't say, well, I got my energy out of water. It ain't had nothing to do with it. Water attracts energy to it. It attracts light to it. Your biocomputers that they're making right now is filled with liquid and fluid and water running. Your cables that go